It was supposed to be just another Tuesday. You know the kind. Too much coffee, too little motivation, inbox flooded, calendar jammed. I was halfway through a weekly sales report when my phone buzzed. A text from Josh, my best friend since freshman year of college. "Dude, what's the actual deal with Olivia? You ever gonna tell me what happened that night at the cabin?" My stomach tensed. We hadn't talked about that night in months, and I'd tried like hell to keep it that way. Olivia was Josh's wife and my boss. Let that sink in. 3 years ago, Josh introduced us at a New Year's Eve party. Me, tipsy on whiskey. Her, cool and sharp and way out of his league. I remember the exact dress she was wearing. I remember the exact joke she laughed at. And I remember the exact feeling in my gut that told me this was going to be a problem. They got married a year later. I was the best man. Fast forward to last fall. We all went up to a lake house for the weekend. Just the three of us. Josh passed out early on the second night. Olivia and I stayed up drinking bourbon on the dock, talking, laughing, saying things we shouldn't have said. Nothing happened, not technically, but a line got blurred. After that, she became distant. Then suddenly, she wasn't. A few months later, she got promoted to regional director and became my direct supervisor. We never spoke about that night again. Not a word, just silence and loaded glances in office meetings. Until today. I typed a quick response to Josh. "You sure you want the truth? It might break you." I didn't mean it. Not really. I was trying to stall, deflect, buy time, but something in me wanted to test the edge of the cliff. Josh replied instantly, "Try me." So I took a screenshot of our text thread just to reread what I'd said. I didn't want to say the wrong thing. I didn't want this to blow up. I just wanted to think. That's when it happened. I meant to forward the screenshot to my buddy Chase, a guy completely unrelated to any of this, just to ask him what the hell I should say. But the autofill in my email client played me. I typed "O" and hit enter without double checking. It autofilled Olivia Harmon, my boss, Josh's wife. The subject line auto-generated, "FWD, what do I say back?" And before I even realized it, sent. I sat there in shock, just staring at the screen, hands frozen above the keyboard. I opened my sent folder in a panic. There it was, sitting there like a loaded gun. The message had gone straight to her work email. Attached was a screenshot of her husband texting me about her, asking if I was ever going to tell him what happened between us. No context, no explanation, just raw suspicion hanging in a digital frame. My heart was thudding in my throat. She hadn't replied. Not yet. I checked the time. 12:42 p.m. She had a leadership call at 1. She'd be at her desk, checking email. Seeing that, I felt like I was going to throw up. One wrong click, one stupid, careless mistake, and I'd just set fire to 2 of the most important relationships in my life. The question now wasn't if it would all fall apart. It was how soon. I didn't move for a full minute after sending that email. My mind went blank, just static. You know that sinking, weightless feeling when you realize something irreversible just happened, like watching your own car roll down a hill in slow motion. That was me. Staring at my laptop screen, watching my career, and maybe my life, slide off a cliff. At 12:47 p.m., my work chat pinged. Olivia Harmon. "Can you step into my office for a minute?" Just one sentence, nothing else. No emoji, no tone, just professional, ice cold, which somehow made it worse. I tried to calm myself down on the walk over. Maybe she hadn't seen it yet. Maybe it went to spam. Maybe she thought it was a joke. Every step toward her glass office felt like stepping deeper into a minefield. When I got there, she was sitting behind her desk, perfectly composed. No anger, no panic, just stillness. That kind of quiet that says everything before words do. "Close the door, please," she said. I did. My hands were shaking. She didn't speak for a few seconds, just looked at me. Her monitor was turned slightly toward me, and there it was. My email. Open. The screenshot right in the center of the screen. "Want to explain this?" she asked. I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. My throat was dry. "It was a mistake," I finally said. "I meant to send it to someone else." Her expression didn't change. "Who?" "Chase. He's a friend. I was asking for advice." "Advice," she repeated flatly. "About what exactly?" I hesitated, then said, "Josh texted me this morning. He's been suspicious about us." I didn't know how to respond. Her eyes narrowed. Suspicious about us? I nodded barely. She stood up slowly, walked around the desk, and closed the blinds. That motion, that small, deliberate click of the wand, made my stomach drop. I wasn't sure if she was hiding from the office or hiding me from them. "Do you realize what you've done?" she asked, lowering her voice. "That email is on the company server. IT can see everything. HR could see that. Josh could see that." "I didn't mean to." "I don't care what you meant," she snapped. "Do you have any idea what that looks like?" "I know," I said quickly. "It looks bad, but nothing happened between us. You know that." She stared at me for a long time. "You think that matters now?" That hit me harder than I expected. She sat back down, rubbed her temples, and muttered, "Jesus, Matt." I stayed quiet. My pulse was hammering in my ears. Then, after a few seconds, she said softly, "He asked me about that night once, months ago. I told him it was nothing." I looked up. "What did he say?" "He believed me," she said, though she didn't sound convinced. Or at least, he wanted to. I felt a weight press against my chest. "Do you think he'll see the email?" "If he checks my account, yes. And he might." She looked at me, tired and tense. "You just gave him a reason." We sat in silence for what felt like forever. The fluorescent lights above us buzzed faintly, and somewhere down the hall, a printer clicked on. Normal office sounds that suddenly felt surreal. Finally, she stood. "Delete that email, right now, and pray no one archived it." I did as she said, fingers trembling. My cursor hovered over delete, but before I clicked, she reached out and stopped me. "Wait, what?" She looked at me, really looked at me, and said quietly, "If this blows up, you understand what happens, right? I lose my job, you lose yours, and Josh," her voice cracked just slightly, "he loses both of us." Her hand was still on my wrist. For a moment, it felt like the air between us wasn't anger. It was something else, something dangerous, familiar. I pulled away first. "I'll fix it," I said. "I'll make sure he never finds out." She shook her head. "You can't unsend a spark, Matt. The fire's already started." And she was right, because that night, around 8:30 p.m., I got a text from Josh. "You busy? We need to talk. Now." I stared at Josh's texts for a solid 5 minutes, just watching the 3 dots blink on and off. My thumb hovered over the reply button, but what was I supposed to say? "Hey man, sorry I accidentally sent your wife a screenshot that made it look like I've been keeping secrets from you for months." Yeah, that was going to go well. At 8:38 p.m., he called. I didn't answer. He called again. This time, I picked up. "Hey," I said, my voice already giving me away. "You home?" he asked. He sounded calm. Too calm. "Yeah," I said slowly. "I'm outside." I froze. I hadn't heard his car pull up. I got up from the couch and pulled the curtain back. Sure enough, there he was, standing by his truck at the curb, hands in his jacket pockets like this was just another casual night out between best friends. I opened the door before he knocked. "Josh." He walked past me without a word, right into the living room, and stood in the center of the floor like he didn't trust the furniture. His face was unreadable. "I want the truth," he said, "and I don't want the sugar-coated version. I want everything, all of it." "Okay," I said slowly, shutting the door. "But you have to promise you'll let me explain. I saw the email, Matt." The words hit like a punch. He didn't even give me time to wonder. I had a bad feeling, so I checked her work inbox. He ran a hand through his hair, pacing. And there it was. A screenshot of our conversation, sent by you, from your work address, to my wife. I didn't try to deny it. The time for that had passed. "She told me it was a mistake," he said, turning to face me. "Said it was meant for someone else. Said nothing happened. But you know what stuck with me?" I didn't answer. "That line you wrote, 'You sure you want the truth? It might break you.'" He pointed at me like he was holding a weapon. "What did that mean, Matt?" I swallowed. "It meant that there are things I haven't told you. Things I should have. But I didn't because I was trying to protect you." "Protect me," he repeated. Then he laughed. One bitter, breathless sound. "That's rich." I sat down on the armrest of the couch, trying to steady myself. Nothing physical ever happened between me and Olivia. That night at the lake, we stayed up talking. We crossed some emotional lines, said things we shouldn't have, but we didn't do anything. "Did you want to?" The question cut sharper than I expected. I paused, because I knew he deserved the truth. "Yes," I said quietly. "For a moment, yes." He closed his eyes like that physically hurt him. I kept going. I never acted on it. And after that night, we didn't talk about it again. But I didn't tell you either, and that's on me. He didn't say anything, just stood there, letting it all settle. Finally, he asked, "Are you in love with her?" "No," I said, and I meant it. But I think I wanted to be. Back then. Not now. He looked around the room like he didn't recognize anything anymore. Then he walked to the door. I stood up, panicked. "Josh, please, say something." He turned, hand on the knob. "You know what hurts the most? It's not that you crossed a line. It's that you lied by not telling me. That you sat next to me at dinner, at game night, at my fucking wedding, pretending everything was fine." "I know," I said. "I know." And then he left. Just like that. The silence he left behind was louder than any shouting match we could have had. I didn't sleep that night. At 2:17 a.m., Olivia texted me. "He knows. He won't talk to me." I didn't answer, not because I was angry, but because I finally understood something I should have learned a long time ago. Some lines don't just ruin friendships. They ruin everyone standing near them. I didn't hear from either of them for a week. Josh went dark. No texts. No late-night memes. No drop-ins. His name disappeared from our group chat. And Olivia? She stopped coming into the office. I figured HR put her on some kind of administrative leave while they sorted out whatever story she gave them. I kept my head down, filed reports, acted like nothing was happening, while my world was quietly folding in on itself. Funny how silence can feel louder than screaming. Then on Monday morning, she walked into the office. Hair tied back, no makeup, dressed in black slacks and a blazer that didn't fit her like usual. She went straight to her office, door closed behind her. Didn't look at me, didn't look at anyone. At lunch, she called me in. The door was shut, blinds closed, no small talk. "He's staying at his brother's," she said, staring at the desk. "He took his stuff last Thursday." I nodded, saying nothing. "He's not answering my calls anymore, not even the ones from my mom's phone." I leaned against the wall. "I'm sorry." She finally looked up at me. "You said you'd fix it." I wanted to laugh at that. Fix it? I couldn't even fix myself. "I didn't know how much damage was already done," I said. She stood up. "Well, now you do." There was no venom in her voice, no rage, just exhaustion, like she hadn't slept since that night, probably because she hadn't. "I'm resigning at the end of the month," she said. "HR's already prepping the paperwork." That stopped me. "What? Why?" "Because I can't work here anymore," she said, eyes wet but steady. "Not after everything. And because your friend, my husband, deserves better than a marriage built on secrets and avoidance." I opened my mouth, but she held up a hand. "I'm not blaming you," she said. "I made my choices. But that night at the lake, it was the beginning of the end, and we both knew it. We just didn't admit it." She walked past me, opened the door, and stood there like she wanted me to leave first. "Goodbye, Matt." I stepped into the hallway, but before the door closed, I turned back. For what it's worth, I really did try to do the right thing. She gave a tired smile. So did I. And that was it. No screaming, no big fight. Just two people who'd set off a chain of events neither one could stop, standing in the rubble of their choices. 2 days later, Josh finally replied to my last message. "Not sure if we'll ever be okay, but thanks for being honest." I stared at that for hours. Didn't reply. What could I say? It's been 4 months now. I haven't seen Olivia since she left the company. Josh and I haven't spoken. Not really. I hear things. He's in therapy, staying with friends, rebuilding. I'm doing the same in my own way. Some mistakes don't destroy you all at once. They unravel you slowly, thread by thread, until you're forced to face what's left. One message, one click, and nothing was ever the same.